It might be the last game of the second semifinal. Who is going to advance to the finals that we have tomorrow? Is it going to be HoSeo? Is it going to be LGIM? We'll find out. The Terran player, he is the ace for his team. He's starting to the top right, and his ideas.
HoSeo G.
Ken is really botching it today, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Ken, I think we might have to let you go.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about it.
Well, bottom left, he gets another chance introducing the player for LGIM. This is
LGIM Bjol.
doing a little bit better there, but still, there have to be a few changes in performance, Ken.
Yeah, this is his last chance. Ooh, this barracks placement indicates we're going to see another Reaper opening. We'll have to wait to see if he takes the gas, but this is normally where you place your barracks when you go for that Reaper build.
At 12, going for 12 barracks, which is exactly the same style that we saw earlier today.
This is the exact same map as well. This is a good map for Reapers. And there's the pool. This is going to be a big problem for Bjol to deal with if he does not micro his queens well, if he does not get his gas.
But Bjol is actually going for a pool before hatch.
That's going to help him get his queens out much faster.
This helps him with the queen. It doesn't help him with the speed. And against Reapers, you need to have speed if you want to deal with them. So the later gas is a bit weird, at least to me right now. I want to see how he's trying to solve this issue, because this has really been a problem. Dealing with Reaper attacks in the early game is not easy. And it always matters how much the Terran player is really committing to the Reapers, but we only see 2. Is he going up to 3, 4? What's Jagchi going to do? Bjal has not taken an extractor. There we go, now getting the gas.
And this is going to be his first glimpse of the barracks, which is going to let him know what's going on.
You know, I've been actually experimenting a lot with openings against Reaper builds like this, especially in Wings of Liberty. You always had to go for 14 pool and gas. In Heart of the Swarm, or in the state of the game that we are now in general, it's a bit of a problem if you go for a very delayed hatch against a Terran player, because his economy, as soon as he kicks in, will be so much better than yours. It's really difficult to keep up with this.
Yeah.
So going into the same 14-14 is not really... You can still do it, especially if you want to have like your options there to go, for example, into a Baneling bus, which we've seen already in the GSTL Pre-Season. But it's really difficult to find the best opening for Zerg against Terran now. And that's why I'm really excited to see Bjal go down a different path.
Yeah. What we see from Jagchi here, though, is only one Reaper. And this is basically just a scouting Reaper. It can kill Harvesters, that's an added bonus, but it's the concern you brought up is more of a multi-Reaper opening, which is what we have seen in the past, but not on this map.
Exactly, and I hate the Jagchi is doing this. I love it for the game, but for me personally, and now I can change my builds, I would love to see it go into like 4 Reapers. What the idea is of Bjal, or one of the ideas that he has, because with the Overlord speed now coming up, he definitely has a few others too. He wants to have the queens out early, like double queen a little bit earlier, and then he can deal with the Reapers a little bit better. He only gets 2 though.
Oh well, if he gets this SCV, the command center is further delayed. This is 2 SCVs he's killed with those lings.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal when you also have a Reaper on the map to deny lings. Obviously, the Reaper wasn't at home at that time.
This is really going to shape up to be a very interesting game, especially now we have suddenly the cancel on the Overlord speed. Apparently he misclicked here, and instead he went into the Zergling speed now.
Yeah, I suppose it's possible he wanted to get a scout and he decided he already pretty much figured out what was going on.
I thought we would see something crazy when I saw that. I'm still waiting for Zergs to just utilize the new upgrades for something incredibly ridiculous, where everyone is looking at it is like, this is so insane, it might actually work.
Yeah. That Roach build was pretty cool with the Burrow Rush we saw from Lucky. Nice deny here. This is, for me, from watching these games so far in the GSTL, the hardest thing I've seen Zerg players deal with Reapers is actually getting their creep out. The Reapers are so good at denying that. All they have to do is target down the tumor, and then, yeah, they take damage, but they go and heal. That's what we saw already, even with that one Reaper. Hellions here are threatening the Queen, and he's going to even further deny creep. Howling Peaks is a map where there's a run-by that's always available if you don't wall that second entrance to your natural, and that's exactly where Bjol goes for an attack. And this is going to catch him off guard 100%. Now, he went to check, bit too late.
But he has a few Hellions there, just waiting for an attack like this to happen, so he could use them. Now he's going in, but he has to pull all those mules and SCVs off the mineral line. And he gets into the main base! Oh my god!
And he's not only sees Cloak, but he might force a cancel on it.
That should not have happened. Jagchi!
Oh wow, he has to repair. I don't know if the SCVs can actually get in. There's no surface area.
Oh my god, this is like the worst case. What else could have happened here? He's losing Cloak, he's losing his momentum, he's losing the strategy that he was trying to execute.
I don't think that could have gone any worse for Jockchi if the Ling suddenly got that upgrade from Heart of the Storm's campaign and jumped over the cliff to got out. That couldn't even have been worse.
Jockchi would have rather lost SCVs than losing his Cloak tech and the tech level.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if he didn't kill it, it was scouted, which is important. He starts Spore Crawlers for the Banshees just to be safe. And this is not good for Jockchi. He's supply blocked as well, actually, right now, quite heavily. They both are. But his supply is 20 down. He's going to lose even more. The Hellions are going to chase this away, but the damage has been done.
Yeah, it definitely has been done. Jockchi is trying to follow this up now with the macro game, going into double engineering bay for the upgrades. Bial, of course, happy with his lair tech here. He also has a third base. There's not a lot that Jockchi can do. His idea was to invest into tech and then make it work to his advantage. But the opposite is the case. We have all these aggressive run-bys and attacks by Bial. He kills more harvesters. He takes down the tech lab with Cloak before the upgrade is done. He's in the main base again now, taking away a few Marines, going into the mineral line, scouting everything that's going on. He sees the third command center. He has an overlord there. Double engineering bay has been revealed. Another run-by at the natural.
He just does not stop the aggression. This is just non-stop mining denial. You know, in rare cases, he kills an SCV. All these SCVs are damaged so that later on he can continue to do this. He's making 12 more Lings, in fact. The only concern, of course, for the Zerg now is that Jockchi somehow gets up one army and pushes and kills him, because almost anything else is not going to work. 2 Widow Mines in production.
Yeah. Bial is going into third base. He has so many harvesters. He has so much more than what Jockchi has. 35 against 62 harvesters.
Oh, and he misses the Lings again. Now he has to turn around.
And this is the problem.
There's
He's going
left.
into Spire. He wants those Hellions to turn around. He can't afford them to be in the mineral line.
He better raise those depots. That was close.
That was way too close for Comfort Wolf.
That was, I may have been intentional for him to wait in the last second so he could trap most of these Lings with the Hellions, but man, that was still really scary.
Bial is not even getting the gas at his third base. He's not getting gas number 5 and 6. And
he already has a ton. He just wants to get the minerals so he can make as many mutas as possible.
Exactly. He's still droning up. He's not taking the gas because, as you said, he wants to have the minerals first. And then as soon as he has the first Mutalisk being built, then he goes into the additional gas. This is horrible for Jockchi. It's atrocious. This guy is looking at this like, what can I do?
Yeah, he's really behind right now. The Spire Tech finishes. He has enough to make 10 mutas, and he probably will make all 10 of them right away. In fact, he will nearly have enough for 11.
And he's already taking a fourth base, so he attempts to. Bial, that is. 10 Mutalisks are being built, in addition to the +1/+1 attack upgrade.
Yeah. So he put the gas for the 11th, so he's only going to go into 10. This situation for Jockchi right now is just one where he has no sort of control on the map. He's not making SCVs. I think he may just try to hit a timing attack because, well, he doesn't have very few. He has very few options right now.
You know what makes it even worse? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even have scouting information.
He can't move out. He's got these Hellions, but they're always a little bit vulnerable. The Widow Mines may allow a defense of the mutas, but...
Okay, the mutas are trying to clean up the Viking. That is actually the best thing that could happen for Jockchi, because now he can start missile turrets a little bit faster. The Mutalisks were on the way to the top right, and if he would scouted them a little bit later, he couldn't now have done anything. And even like this is going to be late.
This is going to be really tough. He has 19 Marines. Combat shields are nearly done. He does have stim. He just needs to make sure that he does not overstim and that he can try to bait the mutas into the Widow Mines. The problem is, beyond all of this is not actually about how many SCVs he kills. It's about the fact that he has a fourth base going up, he's continuing his upgrades, he's teching, and Jockchi cannot do anything about it. He can't even comfortably take a third base just yet.
Jockchi is really trying to move out now, but what can he do? Can he really take down this army? I don't think so. The thing is that Bial is actually not using the Mutalisk as I thought he would. He did not try to get into the mineral lines.
I think he was scared of Widow Mines.
He would have done a lot of damage. Yeah, you're actually right. Widow Mines, that is one of the biggest problems that you have. And he doesn't have an Overseer, yeah. I actually thought that he would include an Overseer in his group, but he didn't.
He saw a Widow Mine earlier in the middle of the map, and he was like, you know what, this is not very comfortable for me. So I'm just going to keep my mutas for drop defense, and I'm going to wait until... I think he's just really waiting for this moment. This is the moment where he knows there's no Widow Mine. He would have seen it. He's been hanging around here. He forced the stem. Oh, this Widow Mine is going to have a lucky day. Bam.
Yeah, and he's clustering everything up. Now he should actually move in. He knows that the Widow Mine is... Well, if there's another one in the mineral line, but to be honest, which Terran player these days does use a Widow Mine in the mineral line? at the outskirts of the base. That is just dedicating so much supply to it.
Only pain user, man. Playing some games, he has like a million Widow Mines all over the map. But here comes the Baneling attack from the back. He politely lowers the depots, but he's going to lose so much here. The Widow Mine does damage to his own SCVs, in fact, barely surviving.
9 workers have been taken out, and those Mutalisks are back to full health.
Yes.
Thanks to the Mutalisk hit point regeneration.
Yeah, they have that regeneration passive ability. Fjell now is getting 2 Overseers. It's going to allow him to use his Mutalisk more freely. He has the Infestation Pit finishing up. This will likely just be for Hive. I don't think we'll see Infestors or Swarm Hosts out of this, but those are possible things that are unlocked here. And he's just going for a big attack because there's not a lot of defense set up for Jockey here. He could just go for the break at the back and go straight into the mineral line while the siege tanks are focused on the third because he just doesn't have enough siege tanks to deal with both. Look at this Ling production.
Yeah, Bial definitely has a huge lead here. Baneling traps are being set, forcing additional scans. Jockey has enough map awareness that he does not go and just puts his Marines on top of the Banelings, but now the big issue arises, is he able to deal with this attack even because his army is not even there?
Yeah, he's having to turn around here. The Mutas push down the wall, even the splash damage or the bounce damage damages the Widow Mine. He finishes it off now with the Overseer. The wall is down, the bridge is open, and here we go. Ling's running in, no Baneling support, so this is going to become a problem, but he's picking off siege tanks here. The economy of Jockey is severely hurt. But, you know, the supply is equalizing a little bit. Jockey's defending this well. He's getting his 3-3. Well, at least his armor part of it.
He just doesn't have the bank, and now Infestors are going to be added to the army. We have the Hive tech. He could go into additional Vipers for the Blinding Cloud here, which would help him a lot. 92 drones. This is one of the things that Bial has to get rid of a little bit later, adding a few Spine and Spore Crawlers to reduce his Harvester count so that his fighting army is strong enough to deal with Jockey's pressure. But the Terran player is really just trying to get a foot in this game.
Yeah, this is just what it's like when Mutas come out and dominate the map. You can't move freely. You can't clear up creep. You can't deny your opponent's bases. You can't drop, because if you go for a drop, the Mutas will clean you up in seconds. There's a drop here that was actually somehow able to get through, but Jockey's so busy dealing with everything else that he can't even micro it.
Exactly, he can't even send it in. Now finally he realizes that something has been scouted. He goes for the afterburner, trying to get into the main base, but Bial is in pursuit. He still has this bank, he's back to 200 supply. Jockey is trying to survive here, and so far he did, but can he take out a bit?
Nice Baneling Mines here.
The Baneling Mines are just too much.
This is just, you know, Jockey has a really great cost-efficient army, but he can never use it because he's just totally denied at every turn with his movements. The Infestors are now out. He's got a few of them, and total he went up to just 4. And look at that, he can walk Infestors behind siege tanks. That's the situation we're in this game.
Bial is going to try to take Jockey down right here. For now, the Terran player retreats with his afterburner upgrade and goes straight back with the Medivacs. He's down to 120 supply, trying to get the +3 attack upgrade out so that he can at least do something with those Bio Forces.
And
but Bial is heading into all the final upgrades, adding the Greater Spire, Vipers.
The Vipers are going to be the nail in the coffin because they cost so much in gas, but when you can afford it and you've also built the proper composition, there's nothing that Jockey can do at 133 supply to be able to win a battle when he's being blinding clouded. 4 Ultras on the way, and I feel at this point, Bial could even take another base to the bottom right if he wanted to, as long as he spreads his creep over there.
Jockey has to do something, and he's trying to drop. That's one of the few things that he could attempt doing now. But the Mutalisks
are still around.
Pursuit. They are waiting a little bit. They don't want to give Jockey the chance to manually target one Mutalisk after another. So he's waiting for the Zerglings. With the Afterburner upgrade, he's just able to get away, and the second drop is now on its way. So maybe he can change things. If he gets into the mineral line and takes down Harvesters, that could help him a little bit. But even if, the problem is, even if Bial loses 20 Harvesters, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he has 80 right now. This drop is smacked down by those Mutas. One Marine lands, but he lands in a pit of spines. This Marine is lost. I don't know where he's going. At this point, Jockey still continues to maintain his production, but he's not building a bank. He has to spend every morsel of income he has. He will never take a 4th base. Look at the base that Bjell is taking right now as he cleans up the army. He has a forward expansion that he can actually start to rally units from.
He's going for double bases now, and here come the Vipers.
Even the Mutas coming from the back here to pick off siege tanks. The Ultras connect.
Blinding Cloud being activated. He has everything, and he's on the move. Jakji is down 70 supply, trying to use the high ground to his advantage, but one base is exposed, and this is, of course, the one base that is the most important to the Terran player.
It's the only one he can mine from. The Marines are going to try to clean up some more of these forces. He's doing everything he can, Jakji is, but Bjell just has way too much stuff. His economy is uncontested, never had a problem dealing with drops because the map control was always his, and wow, Ultralists are good.
He's going for a few macro hatches as well. He's telling Jakji, listen buddy, I get that you try to stay in this game for as long as possible, but the semi-final is ours.
It's over, we're going to the finals.
We will advance, and you have to get out of the game.
He is going to try to long distance mine here. I feel we may have some final end banter here. He kills the hatch and gets away, but 30 more lings on the way to try to close the deal. The Mutas run in. Doesn't matter if he loses them, he's going to run into the natural. Ultralists are not good at closing distance on ramps, but in Heartless Swarm, sometimes they make it work.
The Banelings, they bust the way open for the Ultralist, but Bjell is reluctant to engage up the ramp, and I feel this is a good decision because he is losing a lot here too. That's something that we shouldn't forget. He has the better economy and he will easily just remax his army, but at the same time he can't be too complacent. Jakji is not one to give up. He's not pulling a Marine King here or anything, but he is still going for another base. He has one at the bottom.
Well, I don't know about this base. I think that was a bit overzealous. This is more of a Gumiho than a Marine King stay in. It's like, it's possible, it's doable. Maybe he pulls off a miracle. He's pulling his SCVs here. Either that or he's long distance mining from that third, which is
if you look at the resources lost, Jakji is in a much better spot. He has 18,000 resources against 23,000. Of course, income, that's the big problem. Well, Bjell has mined a lot more than Jakji did.
Yeah, and he has spent, just looking at the spending tab, almost twice as many resources throughout the entire game, just because he has mined them, he has them to use. And Jakji can hide up at the top of the ramp against Ultras all he wants until the Broodlords are there, and there are 4 morphing right now. He has not a single Viking to deal with this.
And to get another base, Jakji has to move down to the low ground. This is exactly what he did, and this opens up the path for Bjell's Ultralisks and for the Banelings. But as soon as the Broodlords are part of the composition, there's not a lot that Jakji can do to hide or get a positional advantage in this game.
Yeah.
We will have Bjell engaged once more. He has still 3 Vipers, so he can negate those siege tanks with a Blinding Cloud.
Yeah. And, you know, Bjell was making those Manor Hatcheries, but Jakji says, that's too soon. I'm not ready to get out of this game. He is mining from 3 bases of 44 SCVs. He's dropping those mules, but look at those patches even. They're so low. He's actually about to be mined out, literally, of his most recently taken expansion. We're 25 minutes into the game. He can't take a 4th, but he is making the most out of this one base that he really has to work with.
He is only 40 supply down. The bank, of course, also a factor for Bjell here. But the upgrades, they are really working
the
for
Broodlords, there's nothing.
Bjell now.
What is he going to do? He doesn't even have Vikings. The Vipers are hunting for Vikings, but they can't find any.
Here come the Blinding Clouds, and now the Zerglings and the Ultralists are moving in, taking down this army. Once again, we have Jakji dropping in supply, so does Bjell, but with his economy, he immediately reinforces. A drop in the main base can maybe do something, but no, it's just not too much.
The SCVs are being taken
out.
out. The command center cannot land. This army does not have enough Marines to run in under the Broodlords, especially not with Ultralists there. GG! And it looks like Bjell and LGIM are going to the finals.
They will go to the finals. They have to deal with Azubu tomorrow. We have both teams advancing. Jakji not too happy with his loss. Yeah. MC stretching. MC and Bjell, they did it.
They did it, and it was a pretty solid victory. There was nothing. The closest game we saw was the final game, and even that one looked pretty dominating.
Yeah, that was well played, and LJM has to be really, really happy.
As you can see here,
Bjell is in. Yeah, he's trying to pull an MC here, but
I've seen better drunk dancers, but NS HoSeo, this is their preseason moment. It's going to be a long and difficult season for them when the regular season starts. I think they can take some matches, but they may have to think about restructuring their team, maybe looking into acquiring some new players.
Well, they already have a few new players in the roster, but we
haven't seen them all too much, and they had some embarrassing moments.
I would have liked to see Sanai. He looked really strong and played well in the first match that they played. Match2, not really just yet. He looks like a nice kid and like a funny kid, but in terms of StarCraft 2, he still has to prove to us that he's actually on a level where he can compete.
You can see there's it seems to be there's a little bit of a trifecta of Sanai and Tassadar and Jakti for their respective races as kind of the players that seem to be looked up to. We saw T-Bull earlier, not with the most, there was nothing really special about his play. Unfortunately, he tried to play like he was playing against a Forge Fast Expand. Maybe he got nervous his first time in the booth. We don't really know. But the team is not looking... It's not looking weak, but I feel that this is a good chance for them to assess the situation, give some of these players the experience they need going into the regular season.
Yeah. LGIM, on the other hand, they are looking really strong. They have a lot of players who just recently switched to Heart of the Swarm and have been playing Wings of Liberty for quite a long time. But still, we are now certainly looking at a team that could take the title. The match against Zubu is going to be a really good one. But first of all, of course, we have our interview here. And this is the LGIM coach.
He wanted to give a lot of players experience, so he put in some new players today. They practiced really well. They did extremely well in practice, but they need more experience playing in the broadcast matches, which is actually exactly what we just said.
Exactly. We talked about this a lot. You need the experience in the booth because you have suddenly cameras on you, you have an audience watching, and this is something that not everyone can deal with immediately.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience.
That's why Rune's play impressed me so much yesterday.
I was really impressed with how he was able to sit down and do it. Let's see what else the HoSeo coach has to go or say before we go off of his defeat. He says in the preseason here, he kind of looks at it as a practice going into the regular season. We figured out which parts we have to improve. Again, basically just what we already said, that he just wants to assess the team going into the regular season.
Don't forget, guys, this is also still a beta.
Yes, this is also a beta.
This is just one of those places where you can experiment a little bit, where you can try to have a close look at your team. Axiom Acer is definitely going to do that after their crushing defeat yesterday. Going to have a bit of a closer look at how they approach things, what exactly the reason was why they lost, and then in the GSTL season, that's when it really counts. Now, for real, here we have Hirai, the coach for LGIM. Let's see what he has to say about today's matches. Last night, apparently, they had a team meeting, and they prepared for today's games. MC and Bial actually showed the most confidence, and they wanted to play today, so that's exactly why they were first and second player in today's match against NS HoSeo.
Yeah, and it really showed their confidence today.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely did.
They dominated.
That's also really interesting what he just says. He mentioned that Bial was one of the sniper cards that they trained against Terrans, and this is the reason why he did so well against Jakti, or one of the reasons why he did so well.
Yeah, consider these guys only had one day to prepare for this match.
He's actually really happy. That's what he just mentioned, that MC shows so much passion coming into the GSTL here with LGIM. He really wanted to play. That's one of the main reasons why he was playing as a first play day. Kind of confirming what we talked about yesterday when we were talking with MC, and he really wanted to be one of the players today.
최근에 좋은 성적을 거둔다기보다는 그런 포텐을 가지고 있는 선수들이 많이 있거든요. 그래서
what he has heard so far, he knows that Team Azubu is practicing very well, and they have a lot of experienced players in their roster. So at this point, he really thinks that it's not going to be easy to deal with Azubu. They have to prepare a lot today, have a closer look at the roster, at the strategies that have been played in the previous matches.
He makes a good point when he says that the players on the Zubu are not doing very well recently, but they've been preparing so well and so hard for the Heart of the Swarm that he takes them very seriously going into this finals. Quick interview here with MC.
He really wanted to play Judgy today, didn't he?
다 끝내버려가지고
He did not get his wish, but
또 3대 0이
played
되니까
well.
He was close, though.
선수가
Yes.
경험 쌓으러 이렇게 나갔거든요.
네.
He said that he prepared against Terran for yesterday's match already.
예.
제가 군단
But
신전 레벨이
Ragnarok
13이에요.
and Ruin, they were able to take the match, so he wasn't able to come out and play.
그냥 다 쓸어버릴 것 같아요.
This is exactly why he's really happy that he's playing today.
네.
Apparently his his ranking in the ladder is 13. This is why we saw Heart of the Swamp experience for him being 13. Still, guys, this is one of the things that the coaches can use to put a random number in there. It's not actually an indicator of skill.
다른 선수들도 활약을 할 수 있게.
He's a little bit sad that players like Seed and other good Heart of the Swamp players didn't get a chance to play in the GSTL yet, but he hopes that they will be able to come out tomorrow. He also mentioned ST. It would be cool.
Yeah, I think that we may see something like that tomorrow. Again, this is a preseason, and this small little tournament is not one that they can prepare for very well because the matches are so close to each other that the finals are tomorrow. So now they only knew they were going to be in the finals after they won today. So now they have to think forward going into this finals. They have about less than 24 hours, in fact, before the match will start.
네네.
Let's see what Bial has to say here. I mean, he's the one who really sealed the deal. He won.
이런 대답을 기대했던 건 아닌데 원했던 건 아닌데.
He's asking about the personality
어떤 의미로
of Bial, and apparently he said he didn't think it's that good.
착한데
Now he's saying he's
가끔 이상해져요.
he's really nice, but he's also kind of weird.
네, 그렇군요.
I was like, I heard that and I understood that in Korean. Then the translator told me in my ear, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what he said. Like, that's kind of weird to say, but I think that's true of everybody. I think most people are generally nice, but they can also be kind of weird.
아니면 누구의 영향을 좀 받은 겁니까?
He makes a very good point.
I mean, honestly, that's just how most people are.
근데 원래 숙소에선 더해요.
There are evil people out there who are more weird than normal, I guess, but generally speaking, most people are nice and sometimes weird.
Look at that product placement.
안상원. 뭐 이렇게 거의 뭐 어깨를 겨누는 이런 세레머니 왕자들 있지 않습니까?
Apparently MC and Bill have been planning a lot more ceremonies in the team house, but they're trying to keep it down today.
Okay, wait a second. This was keeping it down with the Moloch suit, with the cutthroat, and all of these things that happened today. This is keeping it down. Hey, unleash the dragon, guys. Go.
Well, tomorrow is the finals, so
그렇죠. 게다가 안상원 선수는 지금 몰록 옷에
Seed, MC, and himself are the three players that are practicing their ceremonies. So I would expect to see those three players tomorrow as well.
Oh, that's actually Seed,
Seed in the background.
suit.
Yep.
You know, they should actually practice like choreography.
That would be pretty cool. They may already have this planned.
그 이길 줄 몰랐는데
네.
He wasn't able to practice Heart of the Swarm that much yet.
그렇다면
So
장준
didn't
선수의
actually
인터뷰대로
expect to get a
조금 더 연습을
multi-kill.
하게 되면 뭐 거의 걷잡을 수 없는 정도의 한지원 선수를 우리는 볼 수
He feels pretty lucky
있겠네요.
the way the matches went because they
네,
went
알겠습니다.
exactly as
자,
he
이런
planned them
자신감 있는
to.
한지원 선수의
He
모습이
played
참
really well
좋습니다.
on
자,
that final map with the Ling run bys, the
오늘
aggression.
승리 거둔 다시 한번
That was like a new
축하드리고요.
build.
그래도
You know, you could
멋진
see his LGIM training really paying off.
He was already really strong when he played Fnatic, but now, of course, he has so many players that he can practice with and get this experience for Heart of the Swarm that apparently so far he doesn't really have. But he was able to win the matches today. That was the most important part. So now they're advancing to the finals tomorrow.
Finals will be tomorrow. But before we get into that, let's take a look at today's results to refresh you guys' memory.
Here we have it. To advancing to the finals, of course, LGIM and HoSeo defeated with a 1-4. Mad Bull and Tibble falling to MC. Tacita, the one who finally defeats the boss toss. But Bial is able to not only win against him, but also in the final game against Judgy.
Keller, you tibbled again.
Oh, I Tibble?
You tibbled.
Tibble. Yeah, this is...
Wait, is it T-Bull or Tyball? It's T-Bull, right?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
I have to write this down somewhere.
We have a lot of time before NSOSA plays again. We'll be okay.
Exactly. Tomorrow, as you can see on screen, 6:10 p.m. Korean Standard Time. This is when we have the final between Team Azubu and LGIM.
Yep, this is going to be a great final. It's the end of our preseason. Give you guys a good idea of what to expect going into the regular season, which, to refresh everyone's memory, we have a round-robin system, unlike previous seasons of the GSTL. And it's going to be best of sevens until the playoffs.
And once again, we've been harping on this a little bit, but it's really important. All the streams are free in HD, guys. This is like a bit of a preview to the GSTL and GSL this year. Make sure that you tell everyone about it. The stream tomorrow is going to be the final. I'm not telling you to upvote any threads on Reddit, but I would definitely tell you if there is a thread that someone creates, I personally would read it, and I feel if this is the topic, I would feel myself compelled to promote it.
If I read the topic and I liked it, but I wasn't just kind of liked it, but I felt, I felt like you said that that feeling of I need to click the up arrow. I'd move my mouse all the way over there and I'd click on it for sure. No questions asked. I would definitely press. I would have no second thoughts.
Thing is, definitely promote the event tomorrow a little bit. It's the finals. It's going to be great matches. We already seen a lot of good games in Heart of the Swarm. Tomorrow will be no exception. And we have the last time that you can enjoy the free stream in HD quality. The VODs are there, of course, as well, if you can't make it to the live show. But try to make it happen. It's going to be a great, great match. Tomorrow should be good. I hope you enjoyed today's matches, but we are going to see you tomorrow. Stay tuned, and we'll see you for LGIM versus Azubu.